Today's hearing is titled Bridging the Skills Gap, Policies to Help Iowa's Workers and Small Businesses Thrive. It will examine some of the innovative ways that Iowa employers, schools, and policymakers are collaborating to address Iowa's workforce challenges and how federal policies can support these efforts. Between 2008 and 2016, the U.S. economy consistently underachieved. Economic growth and wages were stagnant, leaving many middle-class households struggling to make ends meet. Many folks stopped looking for work altogether. Over the past couple of years, both the federal government and the state of Iowa have taken significant steps to help fuel economic growth and prosperity, from rolling back costly regulations to providing much-needed tax relief for families and job creators. Thanks to these pro-growth policies, the economic recovery has finally reached Main Street, bringing folks back into the workforce and raising wages. Since President Trump was elected, the U.S. economy has added 6.2 million jobs, and we have now seen 12 consecutive months with year-over-year wage growth of over 3%. Prior to this stretch, we had not had 3% wage growth since April of 2009. Iowa's economy has added nearly 50,000 jobs since the 2016 election, including more than 15,300 jobs in manufacturing. Our unemployment rate is at a record low, 2.4%, one of the lowest rates in the country. As I meet with folks on my 99-county tour, one of the most common concerns I hear is that employers are struggling to attract and retain qualified employees. Business is booming, and they want to hire people, but they are struggling to find folks with the skills they need. There are roughly 80,000 job openings in Iowa right now, and only 41,400 unemployed Iowans looking for work. Many of these openings are in high-demand industries like healthcare and manufacturing. This presents a challenge to Iowa's economy, but it's also a tremendous opportunity to lift folks out of poverty and into good-paying jobs. To make this happen, we need to help folks overcome barriers to self-sufficiency, get them into the workforce, and help them obtain the skills they need to pursue careers in high-demand fields. The U.S. spends nearly $1 trillion annually on over 80 programs to help those in need. While these programs are well-intended, they are often ineffective at lifting folks out of poverty. Rather than helping recipients get back on their feet in advance, they have a tendency to trap them in a cycle of poverty. Sometimes they even have cliff effects, which penalize folks when they gain employment or are awarded a raise. That's why I recently reintroduced the Empowers Act, legislation that would allow states to apply for temporary waivers to reform 2 or more of these programs. To receive a waiver, states would submit a proposal for a cost-neutral pilot project designed to reduce poverty while promoting employment, savings, financial literacy, and family stability. This bill would empower states to develop and test innovative solutions to help folks overcome barriers to self-sufficiency and reach their full potential. In doing so, it would help get more folks into the workforce. It is also critical that we help low-income workers obtain the skills they need to work in good-paying, high-demand jobs. In Iowa, there is a particularly strong need to fill middle-skilled jobs, which require less than a 4-year college degree, but more than a high school diploma. In 2015, roughly 55% of all jobs in Iowa were middle-skilled jobs, while just 32% of Iowa workers were middle skill. However, to receive federal Pell Grants, students must participate in over 600 hours of instruction for at least 15 weeks. Many training programs for high-demand, middle-skilled jobs do not meet these requirements, which makes it challenging for folks with low to moderate incomes to afford these kinds of training. That's why I've co-sponsored the Jumpstart Our Businesses by Supporting Students, or our JOBS Act, a bipartisan bill that would allow folks to receive Pell Grants for short-term job training programs. One of the fastest growing middle-skilled jobs in our state is wind turbine technicians. There are over 9,000 wind jobs in Iowa, and 1,800 of those are in operations and maintenance. Despite the growth of the industry, little analysis has been done to catalog the diverse skill set needed for the various wind tech positions. As a result, there are not minimum training standards, and when technicians move from one employer to the next, they often have to be retrained. Last month, I introduced the Wind Workforce Modernization and Training Act, bipartisan legislation that would address this issue by authorizing a report to assess the needs of wind technician workforce and establish recommendations for a credentialing program. By identifying the specific skill sets required for wind technicians, the industry will be able to streamline training programs, reduce those training costs, and provide wind technicians with the competency to move between different projects without the need for new training. The bill would also provide resources for schools to purchase large pieces of wind equipment for use in the training of wind technician students. These are just a few examples. To keep our economy moving, we must identify policies to connect the workforce of tomorrow with high-demand jobs and industries. No one understands this like Governor Kim Reynolds, who has been a pioneer in workforce development. As the 43rd governor of our great state, she has worked tirelessly to modernize our workforce and ensure that prosperity reaches every Iowan. Through her Future Ready Iowa initiative, the governor has implemented an innovative statewide strategy to address Iowa's skills gap, setting a goal for 70% of Iowa workers to attain a level of education or training beyond high school by 2025. This is critical as the percentage of Iowa jobs that require some form of post-secondary education is expected to grow in the coming years, reaching 68% by 2025. Future Ready Iowa is developing Iowa's talent pipeline and connecting folks to good-paying jobs. This cutting-edge initiative is the envy of other states, and as a result of her leadership, Governor Reynolds was recently appointed to the American Workforce Policy Advisory Board to help create a national strategy to address the skilled workforce shortage. Governor Reynolds, I am so glad you're able to join us today to discuss some of the great work that you are doing and how the federal government can help support your efforts.